So with the NFL draft right around the corner, there are many prospects that people are looking forward to, many of which being the quarterbacks. Now, this is one of the better quarterback draft classes in recent memory, which, with all of what's going on in our world right now, means the draft is something a lot of people are looking forward to, regardless of the fact that Roger Goodell will be announcing the picks from his basement. Now, this quarterback class features quarterbacks like Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, and the list goes on and on. However, even with how incredible this quarterback class was in college, you just know that some of them will not fare well in the NFL. And in the spirit of NFL Draft Busts, today I thought it would be fun to run you through the top 5 quarterback busts in NFL history. But before I get into this video, I want to thank you all so much for your support on my videos about the NFL Draft. Your support really means a ton to me, and I'm very, very grateful for it, and it's part of the reason why I'm actually doing this video. I also want to quickly mention that only a small percentage of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you do end up enjoying this video and haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing for daily NFL football videos. With that being said, let's get started. Coming in at number 5, we have every Browns quarterback since 1999. If I really wanted to, I can make this list just based around the top 5 Browns quarterback busts, but I won't do that. Unless you guys want me to. But, I mean, Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, Johnny Manziel, Brandon Weeden, Deshaun Kaiser, those are just the ones that I can list off the top of my head. There's so many Browns quarterback busts. And hell, based off of last year, Baker Mayfield may be looking to add his name to the long list of busts within the next year or two. I mean, at this point, it should be a rule that if the Browns draft a quarterback, that quarterback is going to be a bust. Moving on, coming in at number 4, we have Akili Smith. The Bengals took Akili Smith, number 3 overall in the 1999 NFL Draft out of Oregon. However, they were offered 9 picks by my New Orleans Saints to trade down so that the Saints could go up and grab Ricky Williams, who coincidentally turned out to be a big bust as well. However, that said, they ended up turning down this offer that would have given them the New Orleans Saints 1999 and 2000 first rounder, 1999 and 2000 third rounder, and a 1999 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounder, simply because they were so set on drafting Akili Smith, who only lasted a grand total of 4 seasons in the NFL, passing for a grand total of 2,212 yards, 5 touchdown passes with 13 interceptions, and ended with a career completion percentage of 46.6. Yeah, hindsight's 2020, and yeah, maybe the Bengals should have taken the Saints up on that offer. I mean, the Redskins would take the Saints up on their offer and subsequently get Hall of Famer Champ Bailey, along with a few other players as a result. So, yeah, the Bengals bungled this one. Next up, coming in at number 3, we have Todd Blackledge, a name that many will not recognize whatsoever. But to the people that don't recognize this name, I ask, do the names Jim Kelly and Dan Marino sound familiar? They do? Well, Todd Blackledge was taken ahead of both of them with the 7th overall pick by the Kansas City Chiefs in 1983. The 1983 quarterback class featured, above all, John Elway, Jim Kelly, and Dan Marino. And Blackledge was picked 7 picks ahead of Jim Kelly and 20 picks ahead of Dan Marino. Now, Elway, Kelly, and Marino are all Hall of Famers, which is why the 1983 class is usually regarded as the best quarterback class in NFL history. Todd Blackledge, on the other hand, is regarded as a bust, lasting just 6 seasons where he passed for a grand total of 5,286 yards, 29 touchdowns to 38 interceptions, and a career average 48% completion percentage. But hey, at least his last name makes him sound like a badass pirate. I mean, hell, even Tony Eason, who was taken 13 picks before Marino, helped get the Patriots to the Super Bowl. Like, even he had a few good years. The 1983 NFL draft class bred 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and the Chiefs had the chance to draft 2 of them. They didn't. And that sucks. Coming in at number 2, we have JaMarcus Russell. JaMarcus Russell spent 3 years playing for the LSU Tigers, where he went 25-4 over the span of those 3 years, and as a result, he was taken number 1 overall in the 2007 draft by the Oakland Raiders. Coming out of college, Russell was regarded as the best quarterback in the 2007 draft. But that really isn't saying much when your draft class includes guys like Brady Quinn, Kevin Kolb, and Drew Stanton. The 2007 class was one of the weakest classes in recent memory, and I'd argue that Russell would not have been picked number 1 overall had he come out any other year. That said, the Raiders took the bait, and in return, Russell decided to hold out for 6 weeks until the Raiders relented and agreed to sign Russell to a contract worth $61 million with $32 million guaranteed. Yeah, to say that Russell played a big part in the implementation of the rookie wage scale in the NFL would be a serious understatement. And JaMarcus Russell would only last 3 seasons in the NFL, where he would pass for a grand total of 4,083 yards, 18 touchdowns to 23 interceptions, and a career average completion percentage of 52%, causing the Raiders to send $32 million down the drain and becoming one of the biggest draft busts, not only among quarterbacks, but among any position in NFL history. And that said, coming in at number 1, truly this could only be one player. Of course, we have Ryan Leaf coming in at number 1 on this list. Now, in 1998, the question everyone was asking leading up to the draft was, who do you pick? Peyton Manning or Ryan Leaf? No, I'm dead serious. The Colts would go on to pick Peyton Manning with the first overall pick in the 1998 draft, dodging a huge bullet on that draft night, which meant that the bullet would then subsequently hit the Chargers, who took Ryan Leaf with the second overall pick in that year's draft. Now, at the time, most thought that this was a win-win. Most thought that both of these quarterbacks, Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, would both go on to become solid franchise quarterbacks. So, to many, both teams had won in this scenario. However, little did the Chargers front office know at the time, this would become the biggest mistake in the history of the NFL draft. Peyton Manning would go on to become a Hall of Famer, and Ryan Leaf would only last 2 seasons with the Chargers, passing for a grand total of 3,172 yards, 13 touchdowns to 33 interceptions, and putting up an average completion percentage over the 2 seasons of 48%. But he'd get a second chance with the Dallas Cowboys, where he'd pass for 500 yards, 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions, and complete only 51% of his passes in 1 season with America's team. Peyton Manning will forever be known as one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. Ryan Leaf, on the other hand, will forever be known as the guy that cussed out a reporter in the team locker room after throwing 2 interceptions and fumbling 4 times in a 23-7 pummeling to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Don't talk to me, all right? Knock it off!
Leaf also had many off-the-field issues, with drug addiction being at the forefront of these issues, and these issues would ultimately culminate when he was indicted on burglary in 2009 and sentenced to 10 years of probation. Oh, but that's not it. He'd have another run-in with the law in 2012 for burglary, theft, and drug charges. However, this time around, he'd be sentenced to 7 years of prison. However, he ended up getting out on good behavior after 2 years, but would go right back in for another 5 years in 2014. And since getting out, Leaf has actually kind of turned his life around and has appeared as a college football analyst for multiple football programs, which is great. But that does not mean that he isn't the biggest draft bust in NFL history. That said, that is going to just about do it for this video. But before I go, let me ask you, who do you think is the biggest draft bust in NFL history?